Everyone, today let's go over a very early easy question that I solved over a year ago, almost a year and a half ago. So let's try it again. This one is called find the index of the first occurrence in the string. It's a pretty interesting question. It basically gives you two strings, and you want to find the index of the start of the first occurrence of needle in haystack. So it'd be 0 here because the first sad starts at index 0, and then here the first Leetcode starts at index, well, there is no Leetcode in haystack, so then return -1. So it's actually not as easy as you might think, but let's think about this. So if there is no needle in haystack, return -1. So how do we do that? Well, if not, let's say haystack dot starts with needle, like it's not a prefix, right? Return -1. Let's run this. Okay. Or let's also say not haystack, or and not haystack dot ends with. So it's not a suffix of needle, right? So if it's not ending with it and it's not starting with it, then we can say -1 for short. Otherwise, we need to find the first occurrence. So, okay, so why don't we slide the window throughout haystack? So let's say we have sad, but sad, and then we have sad. So we're just going to keep sliding the window over and compare the element to see if it's adjacent, right? So we're going to get the first one because we're going from left to right. So this is the first occurrence, and it happens to be it. So we're just going to return 0, right? So let's call this size is length of needle for iron range length haystack minus size plus 1. Let's call this substring as haystack I plus size. Let's print substring. Okay, so if the substring is equal because it's the same size, then we just return the first element, which is I, right? That's the start of the window. Right? So in this case, if substring is equal to needle, return I, and we should find an answer. Otherwise, we shouldn't, because this was what it was. So, okay, so it looks like this is not correct. Okay, let's find this. Okay. This is not correct because starts with and ends with isn't used like that, probably. So at the end, if we don't find anything, then return -1 because we've done all the windows. Okay, there we go. That's more like it. So we got to check every single window of size needle to make sure it's not equal to, and then at the end, we can return -1. This is not very efficient, obviously. O of n. But hey, it passes all test cases, and this is a solution I just came up with on the spot. So there you go. Hopefully it makes sense. It's similar to that valid or final anagrams of a string, just finding the match using a sliding window technique of fixed size. So if you're familiar with that, this shouldn't be too hard. So please consider subscribing and stay tuned for more if you enjoy this content.